failed to respond to RFE or file an application before the deadline. This is why we offer a strategy session for 15 minutes at no cost to you. Not everyone qualifies. First, you need to speak with our CARES team. We receive many requests, so we recommend you answer a few questions on our website, greencardguys.com. Our mission is to help people live and work in America legally. Go ahead and subscribe below and follow and share. Talk to you soon. What's happening? How are y'all doing? Today is Tuesday, March 26th, just a few days before the immigration fees go up. So folks, I know you probably got some paperwork already completed. You're halfway through. You're almost there. And you just got to go to the post office or FedEx, UPS, and mail a sucker off. Maybe you need to get a medical exam. If you do, you're likely not going to get it filed in time before the fees increase, because it does usually take about a week turnaround time just for the clinic to get you the medical exam. So today is an immigration live show, question and Q&A. Happy to answer your questions. Drop it down in the comment section. I do have some tips for you in terms of if anyone is interested or to file their own case, or maybe you're already in the process. So some tips today about that. If you're trying to get it done, filed, mailed off to the government, USCIS agency before April 1st, you really need to file it today. I highly recommend it, because even if, and here's a key thing, because if it gets delivered in term specifically meaning received by USCIS on April 1st or later, it's a guarantee. Lawyers don't like to guarantee. In this situation, it's going to be a guarantee that USCIS will most likely reject it. Okay? Not denied. They mean two different things. Denied means like it's actually going to be like denial letter, notice. Not denied, just rejected, because they're going to send you a little notice, 8.5 by 11 paper saying you need to provide the proper amount of fees. So that's going to suck. Do not send it by regular mail. Okay, if you're going to send it by mail, there's adjustment of status application. You have to send the whole thing by mail. Okay. Then you need to do next day delivery or 2-day delivery if you're sending out today on Tuesday, right? Yeah, just don't want to take that risk. If your whole thing is trying to save time and money, don't send it by snail mail. Okay, send it by next day or 2-day mail if you're watching this today on Tuesday. All right. Now, if you're trying to pay your fees, if you're not sure, you're confused whether to use there's a credit card form, G1450. If you're confused by the instructions, then just send it by cashier's check. Okay. For me personally, I'm private about those kind of what do you call that? Checks, normal checks, just in case of fraud or whatnot. So I usually send it by things like that, by cashier's check. So hopefully that helps. Also, you want to send a G 1145, I think, is the form, so you get some kind of notification. Because although you get the notification through like FedEx and all that delivery tracking number, you still want probably a little bit more, what do you call it, peace of mind that they opened your file, and that is a G1145. You put your email, you put your phone number to receive text, and sometimes they only pick one or the other, from what I know. Okay, so, and it'll come in the form of, you might get a text or email saying like 3 alpha characters and then a bunch of numbers. That's your receipt notice. Okay, and that's the number. The receipt number is what you can use on the case status webpage with USCIS to track the progress of your case or lack thereof. Okay, all right, so let's see, got some questions. Okay, wonderful. Welcome to Green Card Guys TV. I'm your host, John Ting. I practice immigration law in the United States with a physical, that's right, a physical office in Houston, Texas. You can find us. We have 2 Google profiles for Ting Law Group, TING Law Group. Okay, you can find us. We're not running away. We're pretty settled. Okay, we are settled in Houston, Texas, and we can accept cases and inquiries and questions from anywhere along in the world. Okay. All right, so let's see here. Got some questions. Thank you so much for your trust to ask those questions. Please know this is meant to be A quick answer, because if you don't know, lawyers can talk a lot. Um, so if you've been waiting for your question to be answered, sometimes you won't get as in depth as you could through a one-on-one session. Okay, so which I'll talk about in a second. All right, Nay. If that's how I pronounce your name, I apologize if I did it incorrectly. If you file for your mom, am I able to apply for your sister along with your others or her sister under 21? Is that like a sister-in-law or something, or half sister maybe? I don't know about her sister because I don't know how that's related to you, but you can definitely apply for your sister as a U.S. citizen. Okay, you can only apply for your sibling if you are a U.S. citizen, and that is on the form I-130, and that's the only form you need to file for your sibling to start the case. For your mom, it could be only the I-130 if she's abroad. If she's here in the U.S., then it could be more, depending if she entered with a visa or not. If she did enter a visa, then you would need to apply for more forms. But definitely want to chat with an attorney one-on-one meeting, okay? Which I guess, okay, there's a good time to mention that if you are interested in scheduling a meeting with us, it's not by default with me, okay? It's not with me. If you want to speak directly with me, we do charge more money for it because I do manage a team. I have a lot of things to do, and I love answering questions directly with you. That's why I'm on a live show Monday through Friday. But of course, with the in-depth answers, it take a lot of time. So I do train my attorneys, my team, my legal team, pretty much every day. They're probably annoyed at me. I train them every single day, and so they know exactly what to do. And of course, if it's a way more complex situation, we actually talk about it as a legal team to make sure we provide you the correct solution if there is one. There might not be one. Alrighty. Okay, so Veronique, AP was approved. Okay, great. Since December, but never received it. And USCIS said they don't have it. So what happens if you got approved but never received the actual card? So it sounds like you already submitted an inquiry with USCIS. That's great. We had a situation one time, I think it was sometime last year, 2023, where, similar situation, it was approved on approval notice, and we checked the forms that had the correct address for us, our law firm, and the client, the applicant, and none of us received the actual card. We submitted inquiry, and USCIS said, sorry, can't help you there. I'm like, what the like, that's ridiculous. We paid for a service. The client paid for a service. You would think they would do the same thing as if they would with a work permit. Because a work permit, we've experienced something similar, and they were able to send it. Same thing with resident card. They would send it somehow after we submit inquiry. But in this situation for advanced parole, they did not. So it's very frustrating. Okay. So what do? We had to refile it. Okay. Very unfortunate. Even though we already provided them all the correct addresses, we double, triple checked it. You likely will have to apply for a new one. All right, let's see here. Because by now, depending how much time about that question AP didn't receive the card, and the reality is because by the time you submit the inquiry and you said December, right, on that approval notice, the validity date of that advanced parole may have expired already, right? So you couldn't even use that original notice anyway. I don't want to make assumptions about your situation though. How long does it take for C14 work permit? I'm not sure. They don't. Let me see if I can find it on the USCIS page here. Okay. I don't know if it actually shows category codes on the USCIS case status website, but let me check. Yeah, I mean, it does actually. C14. Let me see. Let me see real quick. Let me see if C14 is on the list. No, not specifically. So it just says all other applications for EAD. And by the way, if you guys want me to know, like answer your question, how long does ABC take? Please let me know where your case is located because the processing times vary depending where it's at. Like some of them are wide ranging. It's pretty ridiculous. By the way, if you are an attorney or law firm and interested to learn more about immigration, or just want to connect on working on cases together, or just refer to us or vice versa, welcome to go to our website, greencardguys.com. And we do have a resource page for attorneys as well with a quick form. Happy to connect. Alrighty. All right, well, let me just pick a random one here. California service center typically seems to be shorter than others. Well, this one for EAD for all other applications, which could include C14, shows 15.5 months. All righty, let me go to the next question. How long does 824 application take? All right, yours is a Texas Service Center. Thank you for telling me. Let me check that real quick. 824, I think I saw yesterday, was pretty wide ranging. You said Texas. All right, I'm pulling that up for you. 12 months. So let me share my screen on YouTube at least. I know and Facebook, I can't do that on TikTok for some reason. They don't have that available already here. So for 824 that's being processed at Texas Service Center is taking 12 months. If anyone's wondering, well, what is John talking about? 824 form. Let's say your case is on the I-130 is check marked to be processed. Where is it going to be processed at the next step? And you selected abroad, like a specific embassy or consulate outside the United States. That literally means that the beneficiary, the foreign national, has to be outside the United States. Doesn't mean like maybe that person is in the United States right at the time of filing or at some point later because of visitor visa or something, but later on goes back home, right? Because maybe some people don't want to overstay the visa. I can understand. Maybe you got work to do abroad, family to take care of abroad. Completely understandable. So, anyways, it's a lot of future thinking. That's another good reason to consult with a lawyer, strategy session, and pretty much hire one these little things because then you possibly could have saved 12 months. I'm going to pick a different service center, Nebraska. I can't remember which one. That one says 15 and a half months. I remember one yesterday I talked about was like 24 months, I think. Okay, National Benefit Center is fortunately 10 months. But anyway, if your case is already approved, the petition, I mean, step one approved, your case file moves to the National Visa Center. So it's already on track. It's like an assembly line, like a factory. It's already moving to a different location. And then you realize maybe the beneficiary or foreign national is in the United States and eligible to change status or adjust status from overstay or no status to that of a resident holder in America, okay, then you want to consider moving the case file back to USCIS agency. And unfortunately, it's not just a phone call. Say, hey, can you move the case file from there to here? You probably some of you don't even know that in the first place, but you realize that after the fact. So ultimately, you're actually wondering why hire a lawyer? That's one reason. Would have saved you some money and time in that sense. Okay. Let's see here. That's another immigration problem that to talk about. I should probably post a recorded video on that. Okay, let me scroll down, get to some questions. Thank you so much for your trust. By the way, if you appreciate how I share answers, give us a follow, okay, on your respective platform. Appreciate it, or subscribe. After how long you apply for a green card through Asylum? Are you okay? I think you're saying how long does it take for your green card to get approved through Asylum? Because your case was recently approved. I think you mean your Asylum case was recently approved. So let's say you just filed your residency. Okay, let me check the USCIS page on that. 485. So generally speaking, as I pull up the results here on the USCIS page, adjustment of status, AOS applications based on asylee status takes a very long time. Okay. And ooh, you're not gonna like this. All right, let me share my screen here on YouTube and Facebook. It's 32.5 months. So back in February of last year, okay, USCIS realized that it takes a hell of a long time. So they waived the restriction. It used to be a restriction where you could not, you can only apply for adjustment of status after you have continuous presence of 1 year in the United States. But they realize it doesn't matter to restrict you because these applications take a long time anyway. It's not like they're going to potentially approve you in 6 months' time or anything. It's taking almost 3 years. It's ridiculous. And you might wonder, why does it take so long? They're doing additional vetting. Okay, very fortunate. They shouldn't do. I don't think they should do additional vetting of your asylum claim again. But I've seen that because there's a very high number or percentage of people who submit fraudulent claims and then somehow get approved, that they're having to basically redo the work from the past. I've seen that happen. Someone came to our office and talked about their case, and it was about one of their parents. One of the parents got cut up, but and unfortunately it affected the adult child's case, of course. Alrighty, morning to you, whoever's sweet Arlene from Belize. Good to see ya. Um, I apologize if I skip anyone. I do not intend to do that on purpose. Luis Angel Ramayo, or yeah, on TikTok. Can you send a medical exam as an unsolicited evidence? Um, for me, I don't recommend that, but not telling you not to do it. It's just that knowing how the government works. I mean, I've never worked for USCIS, so I've never been on inside per se, but they just have a certain process, right? So I'm assuming you didn't provide it, obviously, in the beginning of the package with the initial package, and that's okay. But anyone moving forward, if you haven't filed your case and you're applying for adjustment of status of any type, employment, based on family, based on asylee status, refugee status, and now eligible U visa and now eligible to apply for residency, I highly recommend to provide the medical exam results in a sealed envelope as required, but at the time that you file everything else. Because if you're trying to attempt to get your interview waived, that's the best way. Because we received a lot of inquiries, questions about why, or people sharing their experience, like they're still waiting 3 months, 5 months after they provide a medical exam and wondering what the heck's going on. It's because USCIS doesn't have their shit together. Okay. Um, oh, I just got a call. Okay. So I don't know. Did I answer the question? I think so. I would just wait. For me, for our office, we would just wait for the RFE for medical. All right. Let's see here. Okay, let me answer another question. Okay, how y'all doing today? Happy Tuesday. Okay, there we go. By the way, if I don't get to your question today, I apologize. I do go live every day, Monday through Friday, usually at lunchtime. I would try to go. I've been trying to go in the evening as well, live. But I just knocked out yesterday, so couldn't do it last night. But ultimately, the best way is to schedule a meeting, strategy session with our team online. It does when you click the link, at least on TikTok, you click the link under my profile picture. It'll take you to a form to answer a few questions, very short form. And then after you complete that short form, we ask for this amount of money. Okay, only that amount. It's really meant to be a hold fee. So after you have your meeting, of course, our billing team is happy to send a refund. but you do have to request it, send a refund. It's really a hold because some people, unfortunately, have not shown up. And I get it. Maybe you get pulled into work or something, but really, it's um, affects the mood of the team because we're really trying to fill our mission, which may seem a little obvious, but help people live and work in America legally. So please, please show up. And I hope you would show up even after paying this amount. I can't say it out loud because certain platforms will ban me for 5 minutes or more. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, let me go to Zaki. Okay. Zaki's question on YouTube. Your EB3 unskilled job contract was terminated through no fault of yours, 5 to 6 months. Oh my goodness. Sorry to hear that. Can you look for any type of job thereafter? Well, um, if this has happened recently for you, you're really well, you say EB3. So are you ready? Like when you say EB3, like you already have residency? Um, I would need to understand that a bit more. But I some reason I think that when you say EB3 also, I think that maybe you're on a non-immigrant visa. If you're on a non-immigrant visa and your job got terminated, generally speaking, can't speak for everyone's situation, but most visa types have a 60-day grace period. So you really need to just jump on the ball, start hustling, look for a new job. If you can't get it done in 60 days, you need to leave the United States. Okay. If you're looking for other options, there's some law firms that contacted me from Canada. You want to just jump to Canada temporarily. Apparently, they have a way quicker process than America. Okay. So just really want to prevent anyone from overstaying if they don't have any options like getting married to a US citizen. Okay. So hopefully that helps a little bit for you. All right, Romar, how many times that can you request reopen or motion reopen? One time, una vez. Okay. So the general rule for court cases, immigration court, you have to reopen your case within 30 days of the decision. However, if not within that 30 days, which is a lot of people, because maybe nothing was available at that time to even worth hiring an attorney or filing reopening, um, there is something called motion to reopen sua sponte, meaning a judge will be willing to reopen it if there's relief available. So if you just some people call us and say, "Can I just reopen my case?" Like, okay, what's the point? The point is, in our respect, that you're eligible with a sponsor. Okay, typically it's family based, right? Like a spouse or something, or but also it can to be through a company if you got a company sponsor you. So yeah, there is something called sua sponte where a judge can agree to that. But what we do as our team is that if we're gonna do something like that, we want the evidence, as much evidence as possible to basically present a case. Think about it like a business plan that you would present to like an investor or a bank. We will want to essentially do the same thing. So it cannot be bare bones. Some people think that could be done. Also, sometimes it gets into context when people are asking for motion to dismiss or related to prosecutorial discretion and want to try to reopen the case for that reason and tired of waiting for Department of Homeland Security attorneys to get back to us. We don't mind at all filing a motion to reopen alone in that sense, like without an agreement from the Department of Homeland Security attorney, but we highly recommend that. So, because you get that one chance. Alrighty, here, let me get onto this platform. Hey, Oi Ois, if that's your name, can you still apply for work sponsorship while asylum case is pending? It's possible, but there's a lot of things to consider. Just a quick overview on that. You cannot expect to do to adjust status in the United States unless you qualify for an exception, which is very limited exceptions. So you have to expect if your asylum case is pending, you get sponsored by a company, which I don't know why, but a lot more companies are willing to sponsor people who have asylum pending. It's like they didn't even know that. Um, but it seems like that's the case. But the you have to because you have to maintain status. So having asylum case application pending is not status. It just means application pending. So it's not a quasi status either. So you have to have the visa abroad, interview abroad. But before that happens, you need to see if you qualify for a waiver based on unlawful presence. Okay. So if you're interested in that type of topic because you have an asylum case pending, DM us, especially if you're on TikTok or Facebook, DM us, type in webinar, asylum pending, something like that, and provide your email, and we'll invite you when we schedule that type of webinar. Okay. Because it's just way more in depth explanation. Okay. Let's see here. Nora on TikTok, can a green card be pending by the petitioner for humanitarian parole? I'm trying to understand all the facts about that. I think what you mean, if I, and you correct me if I'm wrong here, if I can see your follow up comment, Nora, is that you have humanitarian parole currently, and someone sponsored you for a green card, and it's pending right now. That is possible. You would expect USCIS to possibly an officer to give you a hard time about parole not being proof of entry, but of course, us lawyers would argue that there's an issue right now about Cuban Adjustment Act when Cubans have fled their country. Um, it's up in the air now about those folks. So, but humanitarian parole in general, that shouldn't be an issue, but it could be depending on the officer, unfortunately. But on that note, that's an example where, yeah, USCIS officers could give you a problem, but do not give up, folks. Okay, we're the immigration problem solvers, and unfortunately, there are some problems that you truly cannot solve. For example, people lying and claiming to be a U.S. citizen. So you really want to be careful of that. Do not claim to be a U.S. citizen. You know what? Let me write that down as a possible video on my log list to record for y'all. False claim to U.S. citizen. Yeah, really got to be careful about that. Okay. I'm just running down another one. Okay, let's go here. Let's go. All right. So next question here. Do I know what the time frame is when requesting a file from EOIR? That's 10 plus years old. Requested in 2021. Ooh, Jenny, you're gonna have to refile that request, okay? And it's on a form. And I think you can find it online. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Yeah, it sounds like they probably lost it by now. 2021. Okay, my goodness. Okay, so this is the formal name of it. Um, request a record of proceeding. Okay. Yeah, there is a form on here on the government. Let me show it on TikTok. I mean, on YouTube and Facebook at least. So yeah, it's called ROPE, ROP, record of proceeding. Okay, and it looks like, hey, you can file it. You can. Looks like you could possibly submit it online via email. That's good, or in person, or by mail. So of course, if you want to absolutely for sure make sure they receive it, then drop it off in person. And check their hours, of course, because they're off for lunch. They close the window clerk during lunch. Okay. And also, most courts open at 8. And then they close at 4 p.m. Central Time. Okay. Or 4 p.m. in that respective court. So, considering parking, especially if it's downtown, parking and all that, can take some time. Let me go to YouTube real quick. Okay, Friday, you have an IR1 spouse visa case DQ'd August 4th, 2023. Okay, that's about what, 7 months. Were you waiting for an interview in CDJ in Mexico? How much longer for an interview day? Boy, oh boy, IR1. Yeah, I mean, we've seen generally 6 months, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen for everyone. 6 months after being DQ'd, documentarily qualified. If anyone's wondering what the hell is this is for people who are outside the United States. Okay, waiting for an interview. Um, But so even though we would say average 6 months, if it takes 12 months after DQ, then we would file a lawsuit. Okay. Look, we're gung ho. We love suing the government, but if you're a little bit more budget conscious, then we would rather wait a little bit longer. But hopefully you don't have to wait that long in the first place. Okay. But you said DQ'd, so that's good. Sometimes people, of course, you're not happy with the processing times, and then you have a meeting session with us, and we ask you, have you uploaded everything? Have you received an email from the government? Again, this for specifically for people outside abroad. Have you received the email saying basically everything like documentarily qualified? You're in queue, in line for the interview. If you did, then you're good to go. But there's been a couple people who are like, "Oops, you didn't receive it yet. Got to upload some docs." And they waited like 6 months already. So that's why it's part of our workflow as at Team Law Group. We upload that as soon as possible. As soon as we get that new, or even before the new NVC case number, when the petition's approved, we already go ahead and we have a part of our workflow to ask ABC for ABC documents so that by the time we get the NVC case number, we're ready to upload it within the same week, if not the same day. Okay. Because time matters to you. Okay. And also to us. Okay. Now let's see here. Someone asked, how much is the cost of 751 fees? Well, you can check that online on the U765 page. Let's see here, 755 USCIS. You're probably wondering what the fee increase will be. So let me see if I can find that. My spreadsheet on that, USCIS fees. It's expected that the fees will increase April 1st, okay? So, with that being said, there is a lawsuit, though, that's pending. And they're trying to stop it from happening because they're charging for asylum case through other case types like employment case. So that's messed up. Um, okay, so right now it's $680 before April 1st, 751, but effective April 1st, it's 750. Okay. All right. So I'm going to have a shorter live show today because I've got a couple more meetings right after this. But I really appreciate it, folks. Let me see if I can answer. Let's see. One more question here. Okay. Thank you so much. By the way, if you're wondering how to get in touch with us directly, at least with one of my Premier Associates, go to my profile page on the respective platform and click on the link to schedule a meeting. We do have a fee, a hold fee, or a reservation fee of this amount of money. Okay. It's less than a cup of coffee. So hopefully you still appreciate our offer and we'll refund it to you if you show up. If you don't show up, then that's the cost of that. Anyways, um, Freddie on YouTube asks, you're wondering if your spouse, because your spouse is Colombian, if it would be faster transferring case to Bogota. So Mexico is taking forever. I have data. I could show some data. I can record a video about that, but it's just I can't answer it. Like I don't have the information right now necessarily. But yeah, it's taking a while worldwide in general. But where I need to know also, of course, like where your case is located. Sounds like it's already at the NVC stage and just waiting for an interview. Not just. I know that's you're halfway through hypothetically. Okay, I see what you said. Cases at CAC. You're on the portal. Did you submit everything? Documentarily qualified, Freddie? I assume you did. Okay. Thank you so much for your questions. For the folks on YouTube, I apologize. I'm not able to get to all of y'all as well. I recognize some of y'all's names, so if you can submit an inquiry, or not inquiry, submit a form on my website, greencardguys.com, for those folks on YouTube, because I know there's not like a DM type of situation on YouTube. PS YouTube, can figure that out. Alrighty. But anyways, thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. Sorry, it's a little bit shorter than usual today. Okay. Y'all take care. You don't know what to do. Follow for more, okay? Subscribe. Thanks.